Welcome to the Conquer Food podcast with Craig and Paula Williams, where we share tips, tricks and strategies from the coalface of the weight loss industry in the UK. We're going to help you to think, eat and move better. Ultimately, we're going to help you finally gain control and conquer food. Hey guys, welcome to the Conquer Food podcast. I'm your host today, Craig Williams. This is one of my little solo casts. I do one of these every week, as well as an interview, or I get the panel down from the Conquer Food group and chat things over. And today I've got a question that was posed by one of our long-standing Conquer Food members, Claire, from the Facebook group. And it's quite an interesting topic, so stay tuned. If you are somebody who has got an unhealthy obsession with something, then you're definitely going to want to listen to this. Okay, so before we dive into that, I want to point you in the direction of our Conquer Food and Fitness community on Facebook. We have a great little community there with lots of people that are all trying to either lose weight or get fit or just generally create a healthier lifestyle. And it really is a good little group. So if you go to Facebook and search Conquer Food and Fitness community, then you'll stumble across us. It'll ask you a question of like how you found the group. Just type in from the podcast and then I'll kind of let you in and you can crack on. And basically what we share in there every day is a ton of information from these podcasts to other videos. Some of the trainers do training sessions. We do like daily office hours every day. And it's a real benefit. And we do a lot for free that a lot of your local personal trainers and the like will charge for. So get yourself in there if you're not in the group already. And the final thing I want to say is that if you haven't done so already, please consider on whatever platform you're listening to us on, you leave us a 5-star review, because one, it helps other people find us. And there are people out there that are struggling, like really, really struggling with their eating habits and their sedentary lifestyle and their health problems. And this information and this group can help massively. So please, leaving a little 5-star review will really, really help with that. And it also lets us know that we're giving you good information that you're enjoying, and that's good. So all that's been said, let's read out the question from Claire. So she put, there are times when you have to become obsessed about something in order to master it or to succeed. But when does obsession become an addiction? And in terms of health and fitness and food, can that ever be a good thing? In other words, is it healthy to replace an obsession or addiction to food, for example, with an addiction or obsession to something that helps you deal with it? Okay, so it's a great question. I do feel like there's a massive breakthrough here from Claire. I think only a person that has potentially found an alternative to a previous addiction or obsession would write something like this. If that's the case, let me know, and big massive pat on the back. So let's just chat and let's break it down into its little parts, all right? And now, I've not put too much thought to this. I normally like to put like little frameworks together and give you, sorry for the dogs going nuts in the background, but give you little mental models that you can use to to process this kind of stuff. And I haven't done that today because this is just a quick solo cast from myself on the podcast. So I'm just going to shoot from the hip and just going to run at it. But I'm going to break it down into each little bit. So when does something that you're obsessed about become an addiction? Okay, and I think the key thing there is loads of different definitions of the word addiction and actually what an addiction is. But one of the ones that I really love is an addiction is an obsession that has become unhealthy, and I think it's that unhealthy aspect. And it can be unhealthy not just in food and fitness, but also all other aspects of life, business, relationships, your spirituality, your mindset, all these kind of things, even money, it can be unhealthy across all those terms, or in individual terms in their own right. So for example, if you do far too much fitness training and it affects your work, that's going to potentially become unhealthy because it's not the right balance. Things need to be balanced out in a different way to that. So that's the first part. And I think everybody should just have a little look at their obsessions and just sort of think, right, what is going on? And now that I'm kind of running that that program, what is the second and third hand consequences of what I'm doing? Quite often we do things because we get like an instant gratification, little bit of reward, little dopamine squirt or whatever, and that's why we do it. It's, because we are. It's called the law of expedience. The law of expediency, where we want instant gratification. We will always take the path of least resistance to kind of get that little bit of happiness or whatever. The problem is, and certainly what I've learned is that if you've got something that's front loaded like that, so you do something, let's say, the real obvious example here is chocolate. So you have chocolate and you eat chocolate. We talk all the time about, the number one reason why we eat. It's not because we're hungry. It's not because, we need these nutrients in our body. It's because we want to change the state that we're in. We're bored, we're frustrated, we're depressed. Sometimes we're even happy. We want to celebrate, whatever it is, but we want to change the state we're in. We want to change the emotion. And that is the first-hand consequences. We get a little spike in dopamine, we get a little bit of, a happy drug released into the brain or whatever, and everything's great. However, downstream from that, what are the second and third-hand consequences? So second-hand consequences is, well, you're going to start piling on the weight if you eat too much chocolate. If this obsession with chocolate and indeed making yourself feel better through food, what's coming next, if you do that over and over again, what's coming next is you're going to pile on the weight. The third hand consequence, and then there's everything that's attributed to that, and it's not great. It's a hard life when you're overweight. We all know that. The next part is your third hand consequences are all the health, the downsides to your health. And the fact, we're in the middle of this pandemic right now, and the people getting smashed by this coronavirus are the ones with underlying health issues. So what starts off as just like, the odd bit of chocolate to suppress a little bit of depression or frustration or whatever, when you start obsessing over it and it becomes an addiction and it becomes unhealthy, the ultimate result could be death. And I know that is extreme, but I'm sure you kind of get the idea. Okay, so moving on to the next part of it. Is it, in other words, so basically, in terms of health and fitness and food, can that ever be a good thing? Can it ever be a good thing that you're obsessed over something? Now, I'm in agreement with you here, Claire, that in order to truly succeed and master it, you must become obsessed with whatever it is that you're looking to do. You must become obsessed. And because you are what you consistently do, and you will, if you consistently do the things that you prioritize, that's going to dictate the results that you get. So, for example, one of our old trainers, Danny, was a massive bodybuilder, and he was obsessed with being in the gym and eating to support the kind of training that he's got. And he had a phenomenal physique, and he was actually really, really gifted sporting wise. He did a lot of cage fighting, and he was really, really talented in regards to like physically, incredible physique, but it consumed pretty much every aspect of his life. It had to, in order to get the results that he got. Now, flip that slightly, and I'm a little bit jealous sometimes of people that get obsessed, because I don't tend to get obsessed about too many things. I wish I did sometimes. I wish I became obsessed with something and then became known for that thing. I've always been on this search for the one thing. When you read a lot of personal and professional development books, it's like, follow your passion, do the one thing and all this kind. And I don't ever really feel that I've found that one thing. So I'm a little bit jealous. However, I am free quite often from these unhealthy obsessions and addictions. I have a lot of moderation in my life, including moderation, which for me, I love the fact that I'm not out running for hours and hours every day, yet I can still go and do big challenging events, without having that obsession. I like the fact that I can maintain a relatively healthy physiology without having to be super strict and, eating dust and drinking bloody oil crushed by 1,000 virgins in the hills of Italy or whatever. I'm just not that obsessed with stuff. But I think, if your goal is going to is a challenge, it's going to require a certain amount of obsession, a certain amount of, you know what, nothing is going to get in my way of this. And if you're in a partnership, perhaps a little bit of selfishness in order to be able to do the training that you need to do, to eat the way that you want to eat, you know. And so, yeah, I agree that sometimes you need it and sometimes it is a good thing. A good friend of mine does a lot of work with Olympians, and he says that, you know, when they commit to stuff, like nothing is getting in their way. Like, you know, their family, they just give up on so much. And in fact, when they go to the Olympic Games and it's complete, they kind of sometimes have a little bit of a guilty complex, because like, my God, you know, I've done it now. And with a lot of stuff, there is a little bit of anticlimax as you get to the end, or a post-event depressive phase. And they sort of go, God, was it worth it? You know, because I don't actually feel any different right now. So, yeah, you've got to be obsessed. And I would think that, you know, if you're looking to put a significant dent in your image, to lose a significant amount of weight, if you want to significantly change your health, or indeed massively boost your fitness, you are going to have to be obsessed, even for a period of 6 to 8 weeks, to give yourself the head start that you need. You know, it really does need that. So moving on to the third part and the final part of your question. In other words, is it healthy to replace an obsession or addiction to food, for example, with an addiction or obsession to something that helps you deal with it? And I think, you know, it's a great question. And it does give this little insight that you're actually winning here, Claire, which, you know, I love the sound of. And I think as long as you can do what we call in the world of neuro-linguistic programming, like checking your ecology, like you check the ecology of something. It's like that you check the entire environment around that decision. And as long as everything sits all right with that decision, that choice, that thing that you're doing, then 100% roll with it, you know. Only when your second and third hand consequences are starting to be unhealthy, and I use the word unhealthy, I don't necessarily just mean, you know, you're getting fat, or you've got a magnesium deficiency, or you've got psoriasis or anything like that. What I mean is, like, your relationships are breaking down. Is it that it's affecting work or business? Is it affecting, you know, your ability to pay your bills? Is your home life all over the place? Are you still maintaining contact with your loved ones? Are you spending too much time doing whatever you're doing? You know, so really kind of think about the ecology of the thing that you're doing. So that's it. It kind of brings us to this end. Short, sharp, solo cast from myself. Like I said, if you've enjoyed it, if you've got a topic that you'd like to suggest for a podcast, or something you'd like me to talk about, then get in touch and let me know. Leave a comment on whatever platform you listen to this on. And don't forget, leave us a 5-star review, and because it really does help let us know that we're on the right track and help other people find us. And if you're listening to this on YouTube, then hit the subscribe button, because we knock out a couple of these podcasts every week. And you need to hit the bell to make sure you get a notification, because it's not always uploaded at the same time every week. We do endeavour to do that Tuesdays and Thursdays every week, but we don't always nail it because we're pretty busy. So get the bell, and then you won't miss an episode. Thank you very much for joining us today. I hope you're enjoying the weather right now. It is phenomenal weather for a May. It was my birthday yesterday, so thank you to all the boot campers and everybody in the Conquer Food community that wished me a happy birthday. I had a pretty sedate barbecue in the garden. It was nice weather. We had a few bits of paleo meat. I had a couple of bottles of alcohol-free beer, and a bit of birthday cheesecake. That was about as extravagant as it got, but I absolutely loved it. I got some amazing gifts and some incredible cards. And a lot of love from you guys. So until the next podcast, take care. And thank you, podcasters, for joining us again on the Conquer Food Show. Hopefully you picked up some great nuggets of information there. Make sure you join us next week for another episode. And if you've enjoyed this, please like, share, and give us a little review on iTunes. It all helps. Take care.